So we're going to move on to our next 10 a.m. game where we have the Cardinals taking on the Patriots. Cardinals coming in this game 6-4. Patriots coming in this game 4-6. This game will be on Fox. So let's go ahead and preview this game. The Patriots, their offense looked pretty good last week in their loss to Houston. They had 349 yards in total. But they just looked better on the ground. They're last in the NFL in yards per attempt. And the Cardinals have been good at slowing down passing games. But the Patriots' run defense has looked better in the last few weeks. The Patriots are 0-4 so far this season when allowing 135 yards rushing or more, which I could see the Cardinals getting more than that. Kyler Murray, he is hurt with a shoulder injury, but he is still going to play through it. The Cardinals' run defense really struggled last week against Seattle. They only had 57 yards of running. The run defense isn't great. But we'll see. I expect the Patriots to try to go to their run game. I think that Cam Newton and that Patriots offense are going to try to run through the Cardinals, take time off the clock, and that's how you try to win this game, and try to stop Kyler Murray and his because he can be a danger when he runs. The Cardinals' offense has struggled in the last couple of games. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games. Their defense has kind of struggled. They're coming off. So right now the Cardinals are not at their high point. The key is just going to be the running game for the Patriots. Can they get it done? But Kyler Murray, he's hurt and all, but I just think that the Cardinals' defense will step up. I think that, Kyler Murray, he'll be able to find his top targets like DeAndre Hopkins. I think that run game could step up for the Cardinals. There's a huge game for the Patriots. They're third in the NFC East right now. Kyler Murray, he's coming off a really good performance against Seattle, even though it was a loss. But I think that he has another good performance like that. With that, the Patriots desperately need a win. Otherwise, they basically have no playoff hopes. So I think Kyler Murray comes out. I think that coming off a loss, I don't see the Cardinals losing back-to-back. I'll take the Cardinals in this game. I think it will be a close game. I'm going to go 31-27 Cardinals. Because I don't see Kyler Murray and the Cardinals losing back-to-back. Next, we have another 10 a.m. game. We have the Dolphins taking on the Jets in this one. The Dolphins come in this game. They've been playing really well recently, but they have a tough schedule to finish. But they're right now in the playoff contention at 6-4. The Jets have had a horrible season. They're 0-10. But this is a big game for the Dolphins because it's one of their easier games before they have to go play. Play a difficult schedule to try to get into the playoffs. So this game will be at 10 a.m. on CBS. Tua Tagovailoa, he's looked pretty good. But, we could see Ryan. I think we're probably going to see Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Dolphins today. They did bench Tua, but also Tua is out with a thumb injury. He's doubtful with a thumb injury, but I think that they'll go to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Expect Ryan Fitzpatrick to start for the Dolphins. the Jets have just really struggled offensively and defensively as well. They've allowed 250 passing yards or more in their last 5 of 6 games. The Dolphins in their first matchup, the Dolphins won. Their first matchup, 24-0. The Dolphins, they did turn it over twice against the Jets in that game. But, I don't really see the Jets winning a game this whole season. Sam Darnold most likely will return for the Jets. The defense has been playing better against the run, but we'll see if Fitzpatrick can produce. I think the Miami defense will be able to get it done, though. I think the Jets will play better than the first time around, though. But the Dolphins, I think that their defense steps up. I think Fitzpatrick is going to be pretty good in this game. I think he'll find his top targets. But I think that it's just going to be that the defense will step up and win this game for the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins 31-17 in this one. But the Jets, they may not win a game the whole year. I do think that they have a difficult schedule, but I think that they could, in those later weeks, get a win somehow. Our last 10 a.m. game, we have the Raiders taking on the Falcons. The Raiders have looked really good this season. They come in this game 6-4. The Falcons come in this game 3-7. This game will be on CBS. So for this game, the Raiders, they're a dangerous team, which they showed against Kansas City. They couldn't pull off the win. They probably should have won that game, but they weren't able to. Julio Jones is not going to be active in this game. That's some news that we just got. But this is a 10 a.m. game. So for this game, the Falcons is a must-win game if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they lose this game, they're pretty much done. They lost to the Saints last week. For the Raiders, they've been good on the road. They're 4-1 on the road this season. For Derek Carr, he's just been great this season. He had 275 passing yards last week. He has 2,431 passing yards this season with a 19-3 touchdown to interception ratio. The Raiders' offensive line has only given up 1 sack in their last 3 games. Josh Jacobs, he's surpassed 100 yards in 2 out of his last 4 games. But he is going to have a tough matchup against the Falcons' rush defense that has looked pretty good. I expect him to target Darren Waller, but Nelson Aguilar has had a breakout season. Expect him to go to him in this game. The Raiders' offense, they've scored at least 30 points in 3 straight games. They've had trouble defending the pass, but the pass defense is 28th, and their rush defense is 12th. The Raiders, their average 286 points per game, 8th in the NFL, and they are conceding an average of 27 points a game, which is 26th in the NFL. The Falcons' defense, they just haven't been reliable this season. They're good against the run, but against the pass, they just have not been that good. I just really like the way that the Raiders have been playing, so I am going to take the Raiders. Take the Raiders 28-24. I do think it'll be a pretty close game because the Falcons' run defense has looked really good. I think they'll be able to hold Josh Jacobs in this one. Moving on to our 1 o'clock games, starting off at 1:05 Pacific time, we have the Saints taking on the Broncos. This is such an interesting matchup. The Saints come into this game 8-2, and the Broncos come into this game at 4-6. This game will be on Fox. So both of these teams are missing their quarterbacks. The Saints are going to go to Taysom Hill, who had a good week last week. And the Broncos, it's just super interesting. We're going to get into it now. The Broncos, I'm sure you guys have heard, they don't have any quarterbacks who are on their active roster able to play due to contract tracing. They were all around a quarterback that tested positive earlier in the week. So all of the Broncos quarterbacks on their active roster are unable to play in this game. So the Broncos, they are going to have to go to a wide receiver from the practice squad. He'll be called up to the active roster, who played quarterback in college. They were trying to see if they could have one of their coaches, assistant coaches, play quarterback. They were told they couldn't. And the Saints. The Saints looked good last week against the Falcons with Taysom Hill. They have a runner in Taysom Hill that's hard to stop, which is going to have to be something that the Broncos are going to have to stop. The Broncos snapped a 2-game losing streak last week against the Dolphins. They lost their turnover battle though. But, they struggled with the ground game. But they had Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay combined for 160 yards. But, this is going to be very difficult for the Saints. For the Broncos. The Saints defense looked really good last week. They sacked Matt Ryan 8 times and caused 2 interceptions. So it's already going to be hard for the Saints. But the Broncos offense, they're going to look a lot different. The Denver has looked really good against the Saints. They are 9-2 against the Saints, and 5-1 at home. But we're going to have to see, what happens for the Broncos. This is going to be the 4th quarterback that the Broncos have started this season. This is because of Jeff Driscoll, who tested positive. The starting quarterback is going to be Kendall Hinton, who he played quarterback 3 seasons at Wake Forest, and then he transitioned to receiver in his senior season. So he could be, a decent option. The ground game, maybe you could run a little wildcat with Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. But then also Royce Freeman, the running back, could also play some quarterback today. They're going to have to face a very difficult Saints defense. This is going to be almost impossible for the Broncos to win this game. The Broncos are also going to have to run the ball against the Saints defense. So this is going to be really hard. With the Saints have Michael Thomas back. Taysom Hill looked great last week. The Broncos defense, they're going to have to stop the Taysom Hill running. They're going to have to stop a lot of things. It's going to be very difficult to get that offense going. I don't see them coming close to win this game. I'll take the Saints in this one, 28-13 in this one. I think we've never had a circumstance like this before in the NFL. Next, we have the 49ers taking on the Rams in this game. So the 49ers come into this game 4-6. The Rams come into this game at 7-3. The Rams currently lead the NFC West. They've looked really good this season. Um, this is just a totally different 49ers team. This game will be on Fox, but yeah, this is just a totally different 49ers team than we're used to seeing. So many players out. It's been a horrible season for them. The Rams with the win, they'll maintain their place in first place. The 49ers had a late bye. They've had a difficult stretch. They're most likely going to have to go to Nick Mullins again. Jimmy Garoppolo's out for a while. The Rams got a huge win in Tampa Bay on Monday night, 27-24. They've won 2 one-score games since Week 9. Jared Goff was great. He was able to get it to their top receivers in Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And they also got to Brady, which forced 2 interceptions. So the 49ers are coming off a bye. We'll see what they can do. They've already beaten the Rams earlier in the season, but this is a totally different team. They played some difficult opponents. The 49ers have had a lot of injuries. It looks like Deebo Samuel and Tevin Coleman will be active for this game. Samuel, he's been out with a hamstring injury, and Coleman's been out with another injury. Not sure what, but Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson are most likely going to miss. And it looks like Richard Sherman will continue to be out. And they also have 6 players on the COVID list with one of their top receivers, Brandon Ayuk, and Trent Williams. Some of these guys could return, but this is going to be a good coaching matchup between Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, 2 of the best coaches in the NFL. Expect this to be a great game, even with the 49ers missing a lot of their players. But the Rams, they have a good enough offense to win this game, which they've shown. I'll take the Rams 27-20 in this game. The Rams are currently first in the NFC West, so they're playing really well this season. Next, we have a really good matchup in our next 125 game. We have the Chiefs taking on the Buccaneers in this one at 125. The Chiefs have been one of the best teams in the NFL so far this season. This is most likely, I'm going to call this my game of the day. Game of the day. This is the game of the day for me. I think this will be a really good game. I think that this is going to be a shootout. But, Tom Brady's really been struggling with his deep pass attempts, which we talked about earlier in the week. But, he's not going to have to go to that a lot in this game. But expect this to be a shootout. Expect both of these quarterbacks are great quarterbacks. Expect the Chiefs defense. They struggled last week against Derek Carr, and they're going to be facing a similar pass attack in the Buccaneers offense. So this is going to be a difficult game for them. But I see on the road, a Chiefs team that they're going to be back on the road this week. But they've just been great. Their defense showed, it looked like a little like 2018. They really struggled last week against Derek Carr and that Raiders pass attack. But I expect them to play better. But this is going to be a difficult matchup. Tampa Bay, they don't want to keep losing. They don't want to fall to their 5th loss. So expect Tom Brady and that offense to come out firing. I'm hoping that the Chiefs pass rush, can play a little bit better. But this is going to be a really good game. Mahomes, the up-and-coming top quarterback in the NFL versus the GOAT, Tom Brady, is going to be a really good game. But the Chiefs, they're just going to have to take advantage of that Tampa Bay secondary and, see if they can get some stops on defense. But I do expect this game to be a shootout. I think it'll be a really good game. But this is going to be a difficult game for the Chiefs. Their lack of quarterback pressure, they can't give Tom Brady a lot of time to throw. But I think both defenses will struggle, which will make it a good shootout game. But I'll take the Chiefs 38-31 in this game. I think they improved to 10-1. Moving on to our last game, our Sunday night game. We have the Packers taking on the Bears on Sunday Night Football tonight. The Packers come into this game at 7-3. The Bears come into this game at 5-5. This could be a pretty good game. So the Bears, they started really good at 5-1, but they lost their last 4 straight. They've fallen to 5-5. They got to face a really good Packers team at Lambeau Field. This is going to be the 7th Sunday night showdown between these teams since 2016. The Bears, they had their bye last week. The Packers fell to the Colts, but the Packers right now are leading in the division. If the Bears want to have a chance at winning the division, they got to win tonight. So the Packers offense, they're just really going to have to step up. For the Bears, their offense is just really going to have to step up as well as their defense, because the Bears, they have the second worst total offense in the league. It's going to be difficult for them. Trubisky, he's been out the last few games with a shoulder injury. They had a bye last week, though. He returned to practice, and it looks like he is going to start for the Bears in this game. Montgomery was out last week. We'll see if he comes back. In the week before that. But we know what Aaron Rodgers is capable of, and it's just going to have to be that the Bears defense is going to have to come up with some stops. Against Minnesota, the Bears, they gave up 5 plays that went for 20 yards or more. That's going to be a good game, but I just don't really see the Bears defense stopping Aaron Rodgers or the offense doing enough. But, this is going to be a good Sunday night game, a great rivalry game. But, the Packers, they lead this series. They've won the last 11 of the last 14 games against the Bears. I think that continues. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is just going to be too much for the Bears. I'll take the Packers 28-17 in this one. So now it's time for my lock of the week. A pick that I am so confident in that I'm calling it a lock. And I am going to go with the Saints beating the Broncos. I just don't know that much about the Broncos quarterback or wide receiver that's going to play quarterback. So I'm going with the Saints for sure. That's my lock of the week. As far as an upset of the week, I didn't really pick any upsets, which could hurt me. But if I had to pick an upset of the week, I would go with the Panthers over the Vikings, just because the Vikings have struggled in the last few weeks, and I could see them losing this game if Dalvin Cook isn't able to do enough. Now I'm going to do a NFL hot take of the week. That's going to be a new thing. As far as my NFL hot take of the week, I am going to say that the Titans are going to win the AFC South. I know a lot of people think the Colts, but I'm going to go with the Titans. That's my hot take of the week. The Titans will win this game, and they will win the AFC South. So thank you guys for listening. These are my week Week 12 predictions, and I'll see you guys later.